Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for tuning in to another daily reading. Today we are continuing in Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, text 4. So today we have Keshava Das Prabhuji here. Hare Krishna. Bye Prabhu is here. So happy you're here, Prabhuji. Our stalwart, Bhakta Adam. And we have Kala Ji. Bo. And online we have Bhakta Adam. So thank you again. And more will come. But we're going to dive into Kirtan and dive into hearing. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Hashtachadeshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Hashtachadeshatarine
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki Jai Gauda Premanande.
Hari Bo.
Hare Krishna. Whew. Welcome to everyone online. Dr. Adam again. Kunja, Haribol, Dr. Sean, Hare Krishna. Nice to have you here digitally. Welcome. We're diving into chapter 9, text 4 this evening. But not before our Mangalacharna invocation mantras. So if you want to follow along and you don't know them, they're on page 1. And we're just going to chant them, and then we're going to dive in. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitang Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gyoda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Welcome Koroti Vachalang Pangong Long Hayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. Alright. Chapter 9, text 4. Any questions, reflections?
Quickly, I have to say this. I have to take my phone into my room.
At any time, go ahead and let us know. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Are you gonna need this?
Probably not.
Okay, we'll see. If you need it, just feel free.
Any questions, comments, realizations at any time, please, anybody online, you can cut me off. Just unmute yourself and say, hey, and we really appreciate it if you want to share, and anybody here also. So, okay, text 4. Mayatatam idam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina vatsani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Krayam Indriyai Sevamughehi Jivado Swayameva Sparat Yadaha. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-2, 234. Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, and so on cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is stated, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Valochanena Shanta Sadaiva Hridayeshu Valokayanti. One who can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself, if one has developed a transcendental loving attitude towards him. I'll read that again. Hi, Krishna. Sorry.
No, just for the email.
I'll read that sentence again. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service.
Maybe the Gita
Yeah.
shouldn't be on the floor.
Yeah, correct. Well, only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita 538, it is said, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Valochanena Shanta Sadaiva Hridayeshu Valokayanti. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda always within himself and outside himself if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible, where it is said that although he is all-pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses. This is indicated here by the word avyakta murtina, but actually, although we cannot see him, everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of his two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet, one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere, and everything is in me, but still, I am aloof. For example, a king heads a government which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still, one cannot expect the king to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and in the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam. He is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Nacha matstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishvaram buddhabhinna cha bhutasto mamatma bhutabhavanaha. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. We're just on text 5. Okay. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. Purport. The Lord says that everything is resting on Him. Matstani sarva bhutani. This should not be misunderstood. The Lord is not directly concerned with the maintenance and sustenance of this material manifestation. Sometimes we see a picture of Atlas holding the globe on his shoulders. He seems to be very tired, holding this great earthly planet. Such an image should not be entertained in connection with Krishna's upholding this created universe. He says that although everything is resting on him, he is aloof. The planetary systems are floating in space, and this space is the energy of the Supreme Lord. But he is different from space. He is differently situated. Therefore the Lord says, although they are sustained on my inconceivable energy, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I am aloof from them. This is the inconceivable opulence of the Lord. In the Nirukti Vedic dictionary it is said, Yujite nena dhargateshu karyeshu. The Supreme Lord is performing inconceivably wonderful pastimes, displaying his energy. His person is full of different potent energies, and his determination is itself actual fact. In this way, the personality of Godhead is to be understood. We may think of doing something, but there are so many impediments, and sometimes it is not possible to do as we like. But when Krishna wants to do something, simply by his willing, everything is performed so perfectly that one cannot imagine how it is being done. The Lord explains this fact. Although he is the maintainer and sustainer of the entire material manifestation, he does not touch this material manifestation. Simply by his supreme will, everything is created, everything is sustained, everything is maintained, and everything is annihilated. There is no difference between his mind and himself, as there is a difference between ourselves and our present material mind, because he is absolute spirit. Simultaneously, the Lord is present in everything, yet the common man cannot understand how he is also present personally. He is different from this material manifestation, yet everything is resting on him. This is explained here as a Yogam Aishvaram, the mystic power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So another way of saying simultaneously one and different is saying Yoga Vaishvaram. What does Yoga Vaishvaram translate to?
Power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Oh.
But it is simultaneously one and different in the sense that it is everything is one, in the sense that it is the energy of Krishna, but it's different because it's not him directly.
Yeah. How the sun is different from the sun's rays.
Correct.
Do you get that? It's like the sun is diffusing its rays out. The sun is spreading its rays out. And there are people who look at the rays of the sun and they think, you know, this is the sun. This is the sun. And they're right, that's a part of the sun. But the sun is the sun globe. There are people who get really confused and they think Krishna's energies are completely him, like his complete form. I used to do that.
Right. Okay. Text 6. Yathakashastito nityam vayu sarvatra go mahan tata sarvani bhutani matstani yupadharaya. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Purport. For the ordinary person, it is almost inconceivable how the huge material creation is resting in him. But the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive. And in that sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movements of everything. But although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, all the wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God, and all of them are subordinate to that supreme will. As we generally say, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, everything is moving under His will. By His will, everything is being created, everything is being maintained, and everything is being annihilated. Still, He is aloof from everything, as the sky is always aloof from the activities of the wind. In the Upanishads it is stated, Yad Bhishavata Pavate. It is out of the fear of the Supreme Lord that the wind is blowing. Taittiriya Upanishad 281. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 389 it is stated, Etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargishurya tandramasya vidhrito titishta etasya va aksharasya prashasane gargi yav aprativyo vidhrito tishtatyaha. By the supreme order, under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the moon, the sun, and the other great planets are moving. In the Brahma Samhita 552, also it is stated, Yas chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta sharamurtirashesha tejaha Yas yagdaya brahmati samvrita kala chakro govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. This is a description of the movement of the sun. It is said that the sun is considered to be one of the eyes of the Supreme Lord, and that it has immense potency to diffuse heat and light. Still, it is moving in its prescribed orbit by the order and the supreme will of Govinda. So, from the Vedic literature, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This will be further explained in the later verses of this chapter.
The way the quality of those words specifically, maybe it's you, maybe it's Prabhupada, probably both. When you said, we can find evidence that this material manifestation, which appears to us to be very wonderful and great, is under the complete control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When it's said wonderful and great, and they compared how like big we think everything is, and how like eminent, like I don't know if eminent is the right word. It's so present and so real to me. But Krishna is it's completely under His control.
Right. And it is His energy. He can't be separated from it or anything here. It's amazing. One is trying to see Krishna everywhere with by understanding what Prabhupada is teaching, we can easily see Him everywhere here. It's nice. Any other points?
What do you think he means when he says that the wind blows out of fear of Krishna?
Well, this whole purport was sort of explaining that the Lord is giving an example which may help us to understand. The sky may be the biggest manifestation we can conceive, and in the sky, the wind or air is the biggest manifestation in the cosmic world. The movement of the air influences the movements of everything, but although the wind is great, it is still situated within the sky. The wind is not beyond the sky. Similarly, the all-wonderful cosmic manifestations are existing by the supreme will of God. Basically, it's one way it can be explained is it's a poetic way of explaining how everything is resting in Him and how He is so far beyond it, and and he's so powerfully predominating over it that just by the mere will, just by his mere will, he could just decide, all right, you know what? No more wind. So, because, so the wind is blowing like, it's just like the pastime of, the sparrow in the ocean, when the ocean that swallowed up the eggs of the sparrow. And the sparrow got, mad and was demanding her eggs back, and the ocean was like, nah. So the sparrow was like, all right, and then he said, I'm going to dry you up. Or I think it was she. I'm going to dry you up. And she was biting a beak full of water and at a time, trying to dry up the mighty ocean. And the ocean was just laughs, you're going to die before you can dry me up by doing that. But then Garuda shows up and says, give her back her eggs or I'm going to take up the job of the sparrow. And then the ocean got scared because if Garuda wants to dry up the ocean, he could easily do it. So he said, here's the eggs. So in the same mood, the wind is blowing because Krishna is so much beyond this whole material manifestation that he can annihilate the wind if he wants, and that immediately.
Very nice. But so I guess the difference in my head, it's the difference between like a personal relationship between Krishna and it, that's like more personal, I don't know how to say it, compared to like it being his energy and him just immediately controlling it because it's his will and he just determines. Of course, that is what's happening. It's just that it happens through multifarious potency, such as maybe fear.
Well, there's also a demigod who controls the wind.
Right, there is. So, yeah.
So, keep hearing. Alright, where were we?
On 7. Beginning of 7.
Okay. Text 7. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpakshaye punastani kalpado vishvajamyaham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. Purport. The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestation are completely dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead. At the end of the millennium means at the death of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years, and his one day is calculated at 4,300,000,000 of our earthly years. His night is of the same duration. His month consists of 30 such days and nights, and his year of 12 months. After 100 such years, when Brahma dies, the devastation or annihilation takes place. This means that the energy manifested by the Supreme Lord is again wound up in himself. Then again, when there is a need to manifest the cosmic world, it is done by his will. Bahushyam. Although I am one, I shall become many. This is the Vedic aphorism, Chandogya Upanishad 6.2.3. He expands himself in this material energy, and the whole cosmic manifestation again takes place. Prakritim swam avastabhya vishajami puna puna utagramam imam krishnam avasham prakritir vashat. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will it is annihilated at the end. Purport. This material world is the manifestation of the inferior energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This has already been explained several times. At the creation, the material energy is let loose as the Mahat Tattva, into which the Lord, as his first Purusha incarnation, Mahavishnu, enters. He lies within the causal ocean and breathes out innumerable universes, and into each universe the Lord again enters as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu.
Is he on the surface of the ocean or inside?
Surface.
Okay. Yeah.
Each universe is in that way created. He still further manifests himself as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, and that Vishnu enters into everything, even into the minute atom. This fact is explained here. He enters into everything. Now, as far as the living entities are concerned, they are impregnated into this material nature, and as a result of their past deeds, they take different positions. Thus, the activities of this material world begin. The activities of the different species of living beings are begun from the very moment of the creation. It is not that all is evolved. The different species of life are created immediately along with the universe. Men, animals, beasts, birds, everything is simultaneously created. Because whatever desires the living entity had at the last annihilation are again manifested. It is clearly indicated here by the word avasham that the living entities have nothing to do with this process. The state of being in their past life in the past creation is simply manifested again. And all this is done simply by his will. This is the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of God. And after creating the different species of life, he has no connection with them. The creation takes place to accommodate the inclinations of the various living entities, and so the Lord does not become involved with it. Nacha mam tani karmani nabhadnanti dhananjaya udasina bharasinam asaktam teshu karmashu. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. Purport: one should not think in this connection that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no engagement. In his spiritual world, he is always engaged. In the Brahma Samhita 5.6, it is stated, Atmaramasya tashyasti prakrityana samagamaha. He is always involved in his eternal, blissful spiritual activities, but he has nothing to do with these material activities. Material activities are being carried on by his different potencies. The Lord is always neutral in the material activities of the created world. This neutrality is mentioned here with the word udasina but. Although he has control over every minute detail of material activities, he is sitting as if neutral. The example can be given of a high court judge sitting on his bench. By his order, so many things are happening. Someone is being hanged. Someone is being put into jail. Someone is awarded a huge amount of wealth. But still, he is neutral. He has nothing to do with all that gain and loss. Similarly, the Lord is always neutral. Although he has his hand in every sphere of activity, the Lord is always neutral, although he has his hand in every sphere of activity. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.134, it is stated, Vaishamya na grihinye na. He is not situated in the dualities of this material world. He is transcendental to these dualities, nor is he attached to the creation and annihilation of this material world. The living entities take their different forms in the various species of life according to their past deeds, and the Lord doesn't interfere with them. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate satcharacharam etinanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Purport: it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Will and the background of this material manifestation, but the management is being conducted by material nature. Krishna also states in Bhagavad Gita that of all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the Father. The Father gives seeds to the womb of the mother for the child, and similarly the Supreme Lord by his mere glance injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature, and they come out in their different forms and species, according to their last desires and activities. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated and everything is created immediately. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord. But he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities.
Can you read a little bit of that again? From like the top of page 389.
Okay. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated and everything is created immediately. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord, but he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. In summary, material nature without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities.
So is he describing the difference between Bhagavan and Paramatma right now?
Not specifically. He's more so describing Krishna's position as being detached from the material activities and his the connection between the two and the also the separate nature of the two.
He's like a high court judge.
You don't want to put that on the floor.
Oh, sorry.
I thought we had one of those things around here, but I have one at my house we can use. Yeah. It's very basic, really. Sometimes Prabhupada goes in a lot of detail and he explains things in a lot of different angles. But a lot of time, the essence of what he's explaining is actually really basic, simple stuff. Can be understood simply. We're just hearing in detail how basically God is Achintya Beta Beta Tattva. And what this is Sambandha Gyan. It's basic knowledge of the relationship between, there's the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita, as explained in the introduction. Ishvara, or God. Jiva, or the living entities. Time, Kala. Activities, Karma. And material nature, or Prakriti. The Bhagavad Gita explains these 5 things in detail and also their relationship to each other. So God, us, material nature, time, and karma. all the activities, and the time factor. And so that's basically what we're hearing, basic Sambandha Gyan. Krishna is situated here. He expands himself in this way. His energies diffuse off of him. And the material world takes shape. The living entities are impregnated in by his glance and by his will and potency. The time factor is initiated, and all the activities are being carried out by his potency, but simultaneously he is completely detached from them. He's always engaged in his blissful pastimes in his spiritual abode, doing activities with his devotees and having fun. And here we got all this stuff going on. Over here I'm desiring so many things, and so many things are coming, and so many things are going, and I want a nice car, and then the car gets a flat tire, and this and that, and all the material activities going on over here. Yeah, he's totally present in there by his expansive, his expansion in the form of Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. But at the same time, he's, I'm over here trying to have my little project going on, and he's like having his activities going on in his abode. He's not micromanaging my life, in a sense.
So in other words, Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, that is the one who's present in everything.
Correct.
Material. And Bhagavan, Krishna, is not present in material.
Well, he's present.
Right.
But
No,
he's
not directly.
he's simultaneously, inconceivably, fully present and detached.
Fully present and detached.
Oh yeah.
As Kshirodakashaya Vishnu.
Yeah.
But Kshirodakashaya Vishnu is a part of him.
Yeah. Basically, the way I understand is like the Vishnu Tattvas are, they don't have all the potencies and qualities of Krishna. If I'm remembering, I think that they have 96%.
Right.
But, hey, Bo.
Krishna.
But at the same time, the potential for Krishna to manifest his full potency is also there. So it's like a mask. If Krishna so desires, he can take the mask off and fully manifest himself also.
Right.
But generally, that's just the system is that he has this expansion to do that, so he doesn't have to be directly concerned with all of your Maya going on, and he can just enjoy his pastimes and live his blissful, ecstatic Satchidananda life.
So, to put it simply, Bhagavan is fully present in everything. Yeah, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, wait, so if Bhagavan is fully present in everything, then how is Paramatma? Well, I guess Bhagavan is also different from everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Paramatma, is Paramatma also, yes, because Paramatma is part of Bhagavan.
It's a Chintya Bheda Tattva.
Okay. Yeah.
He manifests himself everywhere as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, which is Vishnu Tattva, expansion of himself, manifesting 96% of all of his potencies, which is essentially non-different than Krishna.
Okay.
But if Krishna himself decides to manifest all his potencies, the potential for that is also there.
So, I used to think that it was like Bhagavan is not present in everything, but Paramatma is present in everything.
Well, you're trying to separate the two.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Simultaneous, inconceivable oneness and difference. Chintya Beta Beta.
Beta Beta.
Achintya Beta Beta
Achintya
Tattva.
Beta Beta Tattva.
Yep. It's beyond the material intellect. It can be logically understood, but the trick to understanding it is quality of surrender in the heart to Prabhupada, basically. If we try to intellectualize it too much, you can't. But it can be logically understood, intelligently understood, but it's just like the concept of, God is inconceivable, and if you accept the inconceivable, if you can accept that God is inconceivable, then you begin conceiving of Him. So unless that first step is there, you can't conceive. So it's simultaneous, inconceivable, oneness and difference.
Okay.
But Prabhupada explains it very clearly. How. Every single little detail, really. How Krishna is there, how he expands himself, how the energies are part of Krishna, coming from Krishna, how they relate with Krishna, how they relate with material world, and how they relate with each other. Everything is there. We got time for one more. Are we on 11?
Yes.
Alright, sorry. Text 11.
Sorry if my tongue was.
Wait a minute. Oh, this is going to be... Yeah, okay, this is perfect. Text 11. Avajananti mamudha manushim tanimashritam param bhavam bhajananto mama buddha maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Purport. From the other explanations of the previous verses in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. The personality of Godhead who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation cannot be a human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the original Supreme Personality, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna. He is the Supreme Lord. There are many Ishvaras, controllers, and one appears greater than another. In the ordinary management of affairs in the material world, we find some official or director, and above him there is a secretary, and above him a minister, and above him a president. Each of them is a controller, but one is controlled by another. In the Brahma Samhita it is said that Krishna is the supreme controller. There are many controllers undoubtedly, both in the material and spiritual world, but Krishna is the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna. And his body is Satchit Ananda, non-material. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in previous verses. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Although he is not a common man, the foolish deride him and consider him to be a man. His body is called here Manushim, because he is acting just like a man, a friend of Arjuna's, a politician involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways he is acting just like an ordinary man, but actually his body is Satchidananda Vigraha, eternal bliss and knowledge absolute. This is confirmed in the Vedic language also, Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya. I offer my obeisances under the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, who is the eternal blissful form of knowledge. Gopal Tapani Upanishad 1.1. There are other descriptions in the Vedic language also. Tamekam Govindam. You are Govinda, the pleasure of the senses and the cows. Satchidananda Vigraham, and your form is transcendental, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternality. Gopal Tapani Upanishad 138. Despite the transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are many so-called scholars and commentators of Bhagavad Gita who deride Krishna as an ordinary man. The scholar may be born an extraordinary man due to his previous good work, but this conception of Sri Krishna is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, he is called Mudha, for only foolish persons consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being. The foolish consider Krishna an ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of the Supreme Lord and his different energies. They do not know that Krishna's body is a symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, that he is the proprietor of everything that be, and that he can award liberation to anyone. Because they do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, they deride him. Nor do they know that this appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this material world is a manifestation of his internal energy. He is the master of the material energy, as has been explained in several places. Mama Maya Daratyaya. He claims that the material energy, although very powerful, is under his control, and whoever surrenders unto him can get out of the control of this material energy. If a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is completely foolishness. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive that the personality of Godhead Krishna, appearing just like an ordinary man, can be the controller of all the atoms and of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The biggest and the minutest are beyond their conception, so they cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although he is controlling the infinite and the finite, he is apart from all this manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning his Yogam Aishwaram, his inconceivable transcendental energy, that he can control the infinite and the finite simultaneously, and that he can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears just like a human being, can control the infinite and the finite, those who are pure devotees accept this, for they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto him and engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service of the Lord. There are many controversies between the impersonalist and the personalist about the Lord's appearance as a human being. But if we consult the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, the authoritative text for understanding the science of Krishna, then we can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary man, although he appeared on this earth as an ordinary human. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 1st chapter, when the sages headed by Shaunaka inquired about the activities of Krishna, they said, Kritavan kila karmani saharamena keshavaha atimartyani bhagavan duda kapatamanusaha. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with Balaram, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. Bhagavatam 1:120. The Lord's appearance as a man bewilders the foolish. No human being could perform the wonderful acts that Krishna performed while he was present on this earth. When Krishna appeared before his father and mother, Vasudeva and Devaki, he appeared with 4 hands, but after the prayers of the parents, he transformed himself into an ordinary child. As stated in the Bhagavatam 10:346, Babhuva Prakrita Shishu. He became just like an ordinary child, an ordinary human being. Now, here again, it is indicated that the Lord's appearance as an ordinary human being is one of the features of his transcendental body. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is also stated that Arjuna prayed to see Krishna's form of 4 hands, Tenaiva Rupena Chatur Bhujena. After revealing this form, Krishna, when petitioned by Arjuna, again assumed his original human-like form, Manus and Rupam. I screwed that up. I'll read that again. After revealing this form, Krishna, when petitioned by Arjuna, again assumed his original human-like form, Manusham Rupam. These different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being. Some of those who deride Krishna and who are infected with the Mayavadi philosophy quote the following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:29-21. to prove that Krishna is just an ordinary man. Aham sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatma vastata sada. The Supreme is present in every living entity. We should better take note of this particular verse from the Vaishnavacharyas like Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, instead of following the interpretation of unauthorized persons who deride Krishna. Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, says that Krishna, in his plenary expansion as Paramatma, is situated in the moving and the non-moving entities as the Supersoul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archa Murti, the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living entities, is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. It's important. We'll come back to it. There are three kinds of devotees of the Lord, and the neophyte is in the lowest stage. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur warns that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, every body is the embodiment or the temple of the Supreme Lord. So, as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and every body in which the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. They say that since God is everywhere, why should one restrict himself to temple worship? But if God is everywhere, is he not in the temple or in the deity? Although the personalist and the impersonalist will fight with one another perpetually, a perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality, he is all-pervading, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Goloka Vrindavan and he is always staying there, by his different manifestations of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all parts of the material and spiritual creation.
That was awesome.
Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jade.
So we're not quite that far yet.
Right.
But any reflections online? Reflection just means anything you heard. Any points here? It's a very important point we heard. That where is it? Jiva Goswami commenting on this verse says that Krishna, in his plenary expansion as Paramatma, is situated in the moving and non-moving entities as the Super Soul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archa Murti, or the deity, the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living entities, is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are three kinds of devotees of the Lord, and the neophyte is in the lowest stage. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur warns that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that because Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma, every body is the embodiment or the temple of the Supreme Lord. So, as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and every body in which the Paramatma dwells.
So that would be any living entity, right?
Yeah.
Animals too.
Yeah.
Similarly. He said similarly?
Similarly what?
No, he said similarly. One should respect as. So.
Yeah, just like one is offering respect to the deity in the temple and offering the temple.
Should
You know,
respect
people
the
come to
chicken-
the temple
a chicken as well.
and they come in, like much respect like this, and then they go out,
Just
and then they go to Walmart, and then somebody's crossing the road, and they go, beep beep, get out of my way! And then there's more words inserted there. Anyway, the point is, the same way, like they come, in the temple, so much respect, to actually be able to have that respect with every single person you're dealing with. Person is not limited to human form. Plants, animals.
Let's get on.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about even like in the areas of the Vedas that sanction meat eating for different reasons. Still, that consciousness was there, where they do a ritual. I'm killing you now, and I'm giving you permission to come kill me next time. But in our Western culture nowadays, there's no conception of just basic respect for life.
Yeah.
Right. So that is, that mentality can only be born out of basically ignorance, of Krishna and what's actually going on here.
Yeah.
Basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's really amazing. I mean, it's amazing for me, being raised and taught the way I was, how to view the world and everything, and then taking the Krishna consciousness and, basically letting go of the old conceptions as much as I possibly can.
All the lies we were told.
Yeah, and then over time practicing and living and cultivating more and more the spiritual conception as far as I possibly can. And then just like sometimes, I would just get like reminders or see somebody who's in a state of mind that I like had experienced at one time in my life, but totally kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, man, I can't, that's like, there's such a gulf of difference in conception of what's going on, and values in life.
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's really far out. In our culture, there's space for us to some degree, and there's space for everybody. But we tend to, whatever we are getting into, we're going to go that direction, get into it in more depth. People getting into the depth of whatever culture, whatever ideas they have, and they go deeper and deeper into those, and then we're getting into Krishna consciousness, go deeper and deeper into that, and then when you see someone who's really deep into this way and who's really deep into this way, it's
really
like
disconnected.
Yeah.
I feel that way walking around everywhere I go, bro. I'm like, wow, these people, like, I feel so disconnected from a lot of people in the world.
Right. Yeah. For a devotee, it's natural we got to associate with devotees. I mean, we can function in the world, but as far as intimately associating and sharing values and things like that, they just don't go together, like karmi people. Yeah. But there's such a big lesson in what we heard. Basically, like the test of one's Krishna consciousness is and how they treat others. Yeah, that's the real like test of our Krishna consciousness. Yeah. It doesn't mean like everybody has to be our best friend necessarily. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmini Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshanaha. 518. The learned and gentle Brahman sees with equal vision, a Brahmana, a dog, a cow, a dog eater. I messed it all up, but by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a dog, an elephant, a cow, and a dog eater. So you can see on the spiritual platform equally. But at the same time, there's discrimination. Like, sees people for where they're at. Tiger body. I'm not gonna go try to snug one. I'm not gonna go try to snug a Bengali tiger in the jungle. Because he's a soul. He's going to know I'm trying to love him. Or rip your body apart. So, like, at the same time, respecting means also
avoiding.
Well, depending on the circumstance, giving the space, respecting, where they're at in consciousness, not disturbing. Sometimes respecting means giving the space.
Yeah.
Let them carry on, let them work out their karma. Whatever. Sometimes respecting means also offering more Krishna consciousness. Sometimes it means like giving a little encouraging push. Oh, maybe try you can do this. And sometimes it's like, no, what you're doing is just perfect.
Throw some beads at them.
Beans?
Beads.
Oh.
A set of beads.
I gave one woman a set of
bead
beads.
bag.
I was wondering, what am I going to do for my seva? I'm back at home now. This was in October.
Nice.
I was like, what do I do? And then I saw a Prabhupada short that said, one should go door to door and ask everyone, please chant Hare Krishna. And I had some spare malas, some spare beads, so I went to my neighborhood that was local to my apartment complex. I knocked on every door. It was just like one street of houses. I knocked on every door. Everyone said no. The second to last guy was like, no, but really good luck. I mean it, like good luck, man. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. So I felt encouraged by Krishna. And then the last door was this lady who was like arranged to be living there because she was homeless and everything, and she took the beads.
That's awesome.
So the distressed. But yeah, I don't know. It was an adventure.
That sounds special.
Distributing anything in Krishna consciousness is so merciful. Krishna really reciprocates with it. It's super special to do.
Right. Any final points? Srila Prabhupada ki
Yay.
Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha nantakoti vaishnav vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for being here, Nakunja, Harbol. Thank you for coming, everyone. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place. Hare Krishna.